Everybody scatter, scatter. Chinese man. Everybody run, run, run.
There they go, there they go, there they go.
You rockin' with the blue gang. They came to shoot they coat. Taste the fools and use they votes. You stain soaked through folks' clothes. You throw blows. Leave a dude face broke. Or make a fool race. Like Usain Bolt, then you stay broke. But they won't shut up and yield. They suffering for something that's real. Getting shot on the field, shouting the names of lives that the government's killed. They fighting with picket signs while you shoving with shields. You circle around, search a turbulent crowd. You're allowed to murder a child, smirking the smile. Pow! Pound me till I'm purple and brown. Turn that shit round like the outcome of the Ferguson trial. Now, pardon me man, are you part of the clan? How many bodies you slam? How many men if you wanted to hang? God damn, you break the law cause you can. You got permission cause the system's in the palm of your hand. White shatter guys marks, hype behind bad, just splatter guys blood. The youth fights for that rice, but cannot fight slugs. You just
sit and watch them all scatter like bugs. There they go.
Everybody run, run, run.
There they go.
Everybody scatter, scatter.
There they go.
Everybody run, run, run.
There they go, there they go, there they go.
Your whole gang stays front and slays youngest for sports. Spray slugs at the young boys, dogs handcuffing the corpse for monsters. Not bother to face judges in court. The more you kill, the more you gain love and support. It's appalling. Stealing people's lives, and blood is pouring. The poor got a reason to rise, yet their bodies falling. Officer, put down your gun and forfeit. Say fuck the force before you end up bucking your own brother for it. Don't blame the martyr, or play with karma. I pray to God your baby daughter gets caught up in some crazy drama and has to face your partners who raise the llama, aim revolvers at her face and start to spray shit on her. Pop, 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 right in your daughter's head. She pouring red legs, shaking on the corner dead. And when they take us to court, will you support the feds or get revenge and face your friends from the force instead? White shatter guys marks, hype behind bad, just splatter guys blood. The youth fights for that rice, but cannot fight slugs. You just
sit and watch them all scatter like bugs. There they go.
Everybody run, run, run.
There they go.
Everybody scatter, scatter.
There they go.
Everybody run, run, run.
There they go, there they go, there they go.
Somebody that get paid to do right, did wrong. No, I don't accept his apology. No, I care less about his condolences. He's still working, he's still getting a paycheck, he's still feeding his kids. And my husband is 6 feet under, and I'm looking for a way to feed my kids now.
Hello. How you doing? What's going on? Happy Tuesday. Also Bicycle Day. I don't know if you guys celebrate it, but happy day nonetheless. You fold it over here. How? Today's been good so far. I went out. I got some fiber gummies because I'm old, and I got. This took me forever to find in the store. By the way, apparently they can only like sell magnesium oxide because it's cheaper. So I had to like ask a person, like they had this one bottle of my magnesium citrate, which is a little bit better than oxide just because you can absorb more of it before it wrecks your system. But we're just chilling today. I don't have anything like super planned, just because one, it's a Tuesday, so we're kind of off schedule to begin with. Well, as that, there's nothing really, as this is the downside of streaming more often, is we end up having days where like nothing really changed. It's just the same, so it's kind of boring. But if you wanna hype it up a little bit on the smaller time frames, there is that little tiny ABC top forming. That is a possibility, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm not too concerned with it. We got our macro hedge short, and then we got these little tiny hedge longs. My overarching hope here is that we come back up and retest, particularly somewhere around, I want to say 3,200 to 3,285. If we can get up in that region, I probably will be going down to the smaller time frames to try to find some sort of entry for Ethereum to go short, because once again, kind of dropped the ball on the first short, so I want to try to make up for the second one. Then LTC, the way that it's looking, we are looking like we're putting in a bigger structure here. So we got the ABC, and then we had the 0.382 pullback, retest of the B. Now if we can put in that higher high, it's going to form a larger structure, which if it does have a failure of breakout, obviously like you might have a slight breakout, might even go back up to retest, close to 120 bucks. But if it does fail to break out here, being a larger structure gives us a lot more momentum to the downside, which, like I said, I mean, out of all the shorts that we're taking here, BTC, I'm, realistically looking for 37, and then, hopefully we break past that and we see a retest of 33. So that's what we can expect kind of like initially. And then Ethereum, that has a more significant drop here. We come back down to 2,500, maybe even closer to 2,200. LTC, on the other hand, that's why I'm particularly interested in shorting this. On a macro scale here, actually, we have to even go out to a different chart. On a macro scale here, if we can't hold support, I mean, we're going to drop hard here, back down to about $64, which is going to be good for the short-term play, but unfortunately, some of my spot positions from the beginning of this bull market were at $64 on LTC, so it's going to be unfortunate. Like I said, a lot of people shit on LTC. I don't think it's necessarily a bad coin, because, I mean, it's just, right now, there's no real use for it in terms of, one, Bitcoin's not a large enough currency where it warrants us having to have a smaller transaction size. We can go down to 20 Satoshis and it's less than a cent. All right. But, LTC, only thing that's really used for anymore is, quicker transactions, but just as secure as Bitcoin. That's why I'm particularly interested in that short. Because, I mean, from where we're currently sitting, that's a 40% drop. So I'm looking forward to that. Drove around for a little bit, got some food at a restaurant, wanted to have something in my system before we started today. Why should a man absorb? What are you talking about? Absorb what? Magnesium? Magnesium is super important to your nervous system, which, you can either just have a low amount of it in your diet, or if you take prescription amphetamines, those deplete your magnesium faster, so you have to make up for it. So, if that's what you're talking about. And Johnny said, "Happy Bicycle Day. How was yours, buddy?" Still going on. It ain't over until 12 a.m. All right, then we can say sayonara. It's not over. How is yours, buddy? It's going great. It's going fantastic. Still happening. Roger, Roger. I'm feeling like being a little bit of a degenerate today just because, it's like a holiday to me. A little bit of blockchain poker doesn't sound bad today. I thought about doing this because Like, if I stream it, the only thing I'm worried about is people are gonna be able to see my cards. So what I figured I'd do is, like, I would play, you know, my hands on my other monitor, and then I can stream the table. So, like, you can see what's happening on the table, but you just can't. You can't, like, if you want to play with me, that is, obviously. Which I also thought about doing that in the Discord as well. It was like every Friday, we do like a 9-player table. It was like a, you know, $2.50, $5 buy-in, and we just kind of shoot the shit. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Because poker as well, if you treat it correctly, I mean, it's essentially the same thing. You know, it's broken down to emotions, and then just sometimes you get dealt bad cards. So, obviously, trading, we're a little bit more in control, I would like to think. But, same concept. Learn how to deal with stuff that you're not in control of. And then just like the market maker concept, the market makers, you know, you start blaming someone. Who the fuck cut? Who cut the deck? Who did that? Any advice for a fellow 22-year-old? Been trading on and off for a year and definitely had my highs and lows. Like I said, do a small amount of research into the dopamine system and how psychology plays a huge role into it. Particularly, go watch some of the seminars from Trader Tom. It'll definitely help you think. Read Training in the Zone. Go read some religious texts. You know, that's. And people tend to not do it because they don't see how it's related to trading. But the longer that you trade, the more that you realize that it's extremely related. So like I said, I mean, the mathematics are simple at the end of the day. You got win ratio, you got R&R, you figure out whether or not it's successful, and then theoretically you have a working concept and you run with it. The only thing at that point that's going to get you in trouble is, you know, if you get too greedy, you get too scared, you know, you let your biology take over. Take part in Bicycle Day. It'll help you. Stay hydrated, though. Hey Kite, I saw your BTC long take profit is 43,000. Are you still on? Yep, I haven't removed that take profit. Particular reason why, you know, it all kind of lines up. I moved it down just ever so slightly, but it's not too much where it's gonna, you know, make a huge difference. So I mean, just looking at the candlesticks here, all right, we want to identify multiple different reasons. So going up with the local highs. This is a major resistance here, 42,517. So just because that is the horizontal line and that's the exact point, resistances, they kind of work like areas. So that's where, you know, we could see a little bit further up. We could see a little bit further down. We'll see how it goes. All right. And then as well as that, you can see how this price action right here, which is more recent, kind of interacted with that area of price action. You can see how we're struggling to decide what to do here. All right. And it's almost like we built up this line of resistance that is more recent than this one, but it's pretty much the same thing, giving us a clue to where most of the price action might take place. So that's where I kind of get that $43,000 number. As well as that, traditionally, when we have an ABC, we take all three trends involved, and then we target between the 0.382 and the 0.5. You know, it comes out to 44,000 to 43,000. So I'm just playing a little bit safer because I am more on the bearish side. Go for it. Kite, what are the dangers of a trading bot? You'll never learn. So, do I think that trading bots are effective? They can be, but I don't think they can ever be as effective as humans unless there's like actual AI intelligence. But the problem is that in order for a human to outperform a bot, it does require extensive time and a physical change of the brain. So essentially, what I'm trying to say is if you find a bot that does make you money, which is very hard to do unless you code it yourself. All right. You will never be able to experience what you need to experience in order to be long-term successful. Because at some point that bot might stop working. You know, if it's too successful, other people will start using it. And then that starts showing up on order books as limit orders, whatever it might be. If you can find someone to hide the information from market makers, yeah. I said, I mean, it's not that it's more degen than leverage trading. It's just you're not receiving the benefits, because like I said, the money is it's a side effect if you learn properly what you need to learn. I think the true thing about trading is just it affects everything in your life, which is pretty cool. On the 9th day of Easter, my true love gave to me. Yeah, we're like 10 for 9, if that's the count. If we've been live for 9 days in a row. So I've been live 10 times in 9 days. It's a new record. I guess not, because I mean, back in my past, I used to stream for like 12 hours a day. But I don't know if I like to do that anymore. Speaking of market makers, have you ever seen Trader's Reality? He's been popping up in my chat, not physically, not him himself, but people talking about him. And I've checked out a couple of his videos, and I mean, he popped up on my recommended today, pretty much exactly talking about the ABC pattern. Obviously, like I don't agree with overcomplicating it and try to make. I mean, he's a showman, you know. Not only do I think he knows what he's talking about, he's a good showman. He can make the price action exciting, and it adds a lore to what's happening. But I think that is partly dangerous, in my opinion. When you start adding lore and like a story to price action, in terms of like a battle between the market makers and you know, it's very easy to use that to your advantage in terms of like a negative context. You always have someone to blame now, you know, and then when you are winning, you're more cocky because you feel like you're getting one over on the big guys. So I mean, just look at the market as the market. It's you versus this entity. You know, obviously there's individuals that are all participating in this thing, but at the end of the day, you have no concept of what they're collectively thinking. Now, if you stare at the charts long enough and you can learn how to read the candles, you can get an insight into the psychology of the market as a whole, but you'll never truly know. There's just too many variables. Hey Kite, what is the grid trading? Can you give an example, specifically Binance? I don't know what grid trading is. Bots work good. You let them run for a long time and have a wide range, but market makers also take advantage of bots. Of course. Like I said, I mean, if you're responsible for every single negative and positive that happens to your account, you know, you learn a lot more. And I think people try to go towards like if you haven't been trading 5 years on your own, at least, why are you even looking at a bot? Because how are you supposed to effectively use that bot? How do you make small tweaks, you know, that promote positivity and the profit? Unless you're relying on somebody else to do it for you, which I just don't think it's the right way. How's mining going for you? Pretty good. Obviously, like when I'm streaming, I don't mind, but if I'm just on the computer and I'm not doing anything too intensive, I can mine in the background without interfering with anything. I've been making about $6-7 a day, and just kind of divvying up between altcoins. Trader's Reality is always talking about manipulation. I mean, the word manipulation, I think it's overused in the context that it's used in is inappropriate, because once again, it's a ego escape. It's a way for you to externalize, your mistakes and blame it on somebody else. But I mean, like the literal thing that's happening is you just can't accept that you're in a free market. That's all. When you're in a regulated market, obviously it's manipulated in terms of like they have the best lawyers. They know how to get through these like loopholes so they can use the regulation as manipulation. But then in a free market, there is no real regulation. If a millionaire wants to sell $1 million and he wants to do it at the blink of an eye, he can do it. So everybody that's on these, Twitter and YouTube talking about Elon Musk and how they support his right to buy Twitter, if he can afford it, he can buy it. It's the same thing. It's a free market. So if you're going to complain about manipulation, that could be you one day. You could be the ones trying to sell $2 million, and you might need that money now. Who knows what you need it for? And because of some regulations, and because you cried manipulation in the past, and you were a part of the people that wanted, tighter control, you have to wait 2 months, in order to sell it, because you have to give proper notice, which it's a situation you just have to ask yourself, what do you think is more appropriate? Free choice, or you being able to feel better about your trades? Sorry, battery failure. I'm back. Welcome back, man. We're gonna have to take it very slow today. Just saying that right now. Grid trading is basically a ton of... Okay, so I get what you're saying. So, I've seen people do it, and I know there's bots that can set them up for you in an educated mathematical way, like an approach that kind of makes sense. Me personally, I think it makes more sense to target specific areas, because a lot of times, like when you see grid trading and people talk about it, instead of like me targeting a specific area and I'm grid trading like this, right? They'll pretty much grid trade the entirety of like this whole move, which, to each their own. I don't think it's appropriate, and I think it gets people in a lot of trouble, especially when they try to do it themselves. So I get why you might be using a bot for that. But for me, I'd rather, kind of look at it from the pyramid perspective. If I want to go short, and I am coming from the perspective of I'm not putting all my money in at one price point and willing to get stopped out, I'll enter my profit like this. So like if this is the first resistance, all right, I'm going to put in the smallest amount of money in this region. And then as we approach the macro resistance, that's when I start to put in even more, starting to put bigger and bigger chunks. And then this is the last place we saw price action turn back from. That's where I'm going to put in the most. And then you're trying to get your average DCA, somewhere towards the middle. So, like I said, I don't really promote that type of trading just because with leverage trading, it's a very difficult thing to manage emotionally. Like I said, you're fighting greed most importantly, because the whole concept of, if I put in, so let's say I have $200 and that last DCA is, 125, and then we got 75, we got 50, and then we got 25. So the first order that we put in would be 25. And people go, well, if it does turn back around and we go to the downside and I only have $25 in there, then, I'm not going to make any money. That defeats the purpose. of what I'm trying to do here. So then they'll try to chase it on the way down, and you're doing the exact opposite of what you originally planned on. You originally planned on, if the market was going to continue up for a little bit, you were going to get a higher short. Now you're getting a lower short, right? You're getting less profit than you would if you were just patient, right? Because what's mattering is the percentages involved with each transaction you make with the market, not whether or not you make yourself feel better by putting more in, even if it's at a lower point where you're less safe. Like I said, the one thing that I like to promote, especially past 2 months or so, the hedge trades, they just allow you to play the market entirely different. And if you focus on the safety, you're actually securing more profit in the long run. Currently showing the latest Ponzi GMT. Let's check it out. Oh, it's a nice setup. I'd be careful though. Is this listed on Binance? Not Binance, Bybit. It is. How? I would have figured the funding rate would have been a little bit more. It's a little bit thinner of a setup than I would like to take, me personally, but go for it, man, if you're feeling like it. Now, pre-warning, I might have to pause the live stream for like 20-30 minutes at some point, and then I'll be back, because induction stove? Isn't that just like an electric stove? It's not manipulated, it's managed. That's a good word to use. A lot of capital to start is essential. Are you talking about for bot trading? I mean, it depends on if the bot's well tested. If you're testing out a bot, I don't think a lot of capital is essential. It's actually should start with a lot less, because it's all percentages. If the bot can take $100, break it down into the percentages it needs to, and then turn it into 200, it's no different than 100,000. Have you ever considered doing a $100 account challenge setup for others to copy trade? If you're talking about like actual copy trade from like Bybit themselves, I already talked about that a little bit. I'm not going to be doing that. And my intention is not for you to 100% copy trade me at all. And I'm not going to fool you either. All right, it's going to be probably a long time before we see any sort of $100 account that can do the same thing that we did just over a little bit over a year ago. That was when you have the force of the bull market at your disposal and you're just taking long breakout trades. A $100 account can do some pretty incredible things. But in this sideways market, yeah, you can probably maybe 2-3x it if you're decent with it. But those kind of percentages don't come very often. Bro, there's this guy, Richard Hart. Is he your relative or something? I don't know, man. I hope not. I bought a bot the same as CryptoFace back in the day. The background music, that's carbon-based life forms. Spotify. Fesley, what's going on? I see your message before, Bufo. So I've never traded IDKY. I'm looking for bots. I heard liquidity front-running bots was a secret magical answer, but apparently it's a blatant scam. Like I said, that's a part of the problem. Is bots are probably one of the easiest things to sell to people. That's what I was saying before. Like, one, I'm coming from the perspective of like the actual brain scans that can happen in terms of you changing the way you think. But if you can trade for about 5 years, you know what you're looking for in terms of legitimacy. If you are trying to go to someone to help you either put together a bot or you're buying their bot, you know. Because if you're just starting out, you have no clue what you're looking for. Hey, new here. I like your style. Do you have a trading course? Or do you offer any? Nope. I got hundreds of live streams. Now, if you go back far enough, it's a completely different style, probably. You know, fractals of the same type of thing. But no, probably for like a good year now, I've been trading the same exact way. So you can just go look back at the past streams. I do have a tutorial on my channel about ABCs. That's pretty much all I use. Kite, do you kiss fish when we're not here? Yes. Periodically, at random points in the time, I will look behind me and go, "We love the fish." Praise the fish. I got that trick from my buddy. He does the same thing to his cat. You know, just making a little do. Who loved? Come here. He heard me say that we love the fish. And he said, "That's me." Alright, can you explain about dopamine control and trading relation? So, it's just like any addiction. The problem is that when we make massive amounts of money, it feels good. Dopamine starts rushing through your brain. So, at that point, what you're doing is, if you do it enough, you can cause neurotoxicity, cause a degradation in how the brain reacts. Basically, like, you'll get slower in terms of your thinking if you are happy too often. So that's where like a long winning streaks are typically my downfall, and that's, you know, one of the things that I'm learning about by researching it is it's not just the the bad part. It's mostly the winning, because the winning causes the most problems. Because with neurotoxicity, you can obviously kill off the dopamine receptors, therefore your brain gets slower. And then when you do have a losing streak, it's even worse than, like normal. And then you react very incredibly stupid. So it's important to detach yourself emotionally, so therefore the charts don't affect the psychology of your brain. Obviously, we're humans. We can't really help it beyond a certain point, but through practice, we can. And it's almost, that's why trading for a long time, no matter if you have to lose a lot of money to do it, or if it's just monogamous, monotony in terms of longevity of the account and small, gradual profits and losses. When you desensitize yourself to the ups and downs of the market, then you can probably do a better job long term. You have to forgive me. It's bicycle day. So, obviously I can't, say a lot on YouTube, but I'm trying my best to hang in, guys. Rocket ship's blasting off. I might go with it at some point. Thank you for the ABC strategy, man. Working great. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, my words are jumbled up at the moment. Monogamous. I was looking for the word monotony. Do I have solar panels? No. I would like to set up something someday, but I'd rather I'm just looking at the R&R of the entire situation. I don't want to go too far with it at this moment in time. But if the mining pays for itself and eventually starts going that direction, I'll continue to pursue it. I want to know, the biggest thermonuclear reactor is the sun. Oh, you want me to know that? Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Keep that in mind. I'm in so long from 99. Take profits? Question mark. It's kind of unfortunate because it's not the same situation as, say, Ethereum and Bitcoin. It's like with those, we're retesting resistances that are a little bit further away, more than likely. But with this one, I can't accurately judge that because we're already at the A, which is what it would want to be retesting, if anything. So it could possibly go a little bit further up, but I wouldn't trust it. I would keep my eye on BTC and Ethereum for when they can hit their most likely turnaround regions. Like I said, for Ethereum, it's most likely going to be somewhere in this region. And then for Bitcoin, 43K. So keep your eyes on those. If we see 43 or 3,200 on Ethereum, that can give you a clue as to when you should take profits on other coins, just because they might not act the same. Been stuck in 88 long for a week. Yeah, man, I know how that feels to be in a bad position for a prolonged period of time. I mean, hey, just look at the absolute negatives. How much are you gonna lose? If you choose to just walk away now. But hopefully it turns back up for you. Like I said, I do think there's a little bit more upside price action to come here shortly. So there is that possibility that you could break even or make a little bit of profit. Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate it, man. You have solar panels. You poor and just saying stuff because you a woke green girl. I'm confused. You're confusing me. I'm a big fan of KDA from the point of view of what promises. What could you share from the TA perspective? So, I mean, I've talked about this before. A lot of people have asked me like why I'm choosing to throw some of my mining profits into KDA rather than just buy it. And for me, it's a simple matter of like R&R and how I trade in particular. So on a macro scale, I only want to insert money if we get back down to I think like $4. Yeah. If we get back above $8.50, because that's a huge layer of support here. And you can see that's what was acting as resistance over here. So I don't want to insert any money unless we get back above that region, because then we have the availability of coming back up to like 16 to $28. Or if we come back down, we put in a lower low than $4.37, and then we can still hold that support here. Because if we can hold that support after retesting it very strongly and show signs that the market has strength, then I'll buy into that. But besides that, like on a DCA basis, I rather just kind of take it day by day and use the advantage of mining and just let my bag grow gradually. It's very confusing to me because obviously with today being today, it blurs the lines. I can't tell whether or not people are joking. But you're gonna take the LTC short that's coming soon. Yeah, I talked about that in the beginning of the live stream. Because that one out of all of them has probably the most catastrophic chance of dropping. So I explained that on the macro side of things, if we can't really hold these lower supports, like $64 is the next local low. I'm not saying that it's going to drop down to $64. I'm just saying that was the last layer of support that's known. And yeah, we can use like Bookmap and stuff to try to find out where the new layers of supports are going to be, but to me it just makes no difference. Hoping Ryan gets his page back. He did. He already got it back. I'm very happy for him. I was talking to him on the phone yesterday, and just because it's one thing to see him on stream talking about it, but obviously you gotta maintain like a happiness face, somewhat, just to not bring other people down. That's what he was doing. But anybody put in that situation would be incredibly mad / sad. So I'm very happy that it all worked out, because my biggest worry was that he would have got the channel back, but then all the videos would have been gone if it did get hacked. So I'm glad everything is just exactly as he left it. What is the next short time frame on BTC? I'm not quite sure because it has to form. As of right now, the last like macro short entry still remains 45,000-ish. And right now, if you want a decent time frame setup, we're still forming our A. So my hope is once we come up to the 43K, $2,500 region, we have that first initial pullback, and we might see something sort of like that coming back up to around 43,000. So if that's what you're talking about, that would be a good short for people to hop back into. That's what I'm hoping to see, mostly on Ethereum for me in particular. I already got my short on Bitcoin, so I'm not too concerned about that one, but I definitely want a way to get back into Ethereum at a higher price point. Alright guys, it's about that time. I gotta dip for a little bit, but I'll be back. Probably sometime later tonight. Hang out, do some DJing stuff. And yeah. Happy Bicycle Day, everybody. Hopefully you're enjoying it. And get back here shortly. Let's see. Okay, outro song. I'm playing a lot of Chinese man lately. He's got some good music on here. Groove session. I want to play Art Time by Chinese Man. I'll add it to the playlist for you guys. Right, guys. Yeah, it's getting a little bit much for me right now, so I gotta go chillax, breathe in some fresh air. Right, guys. I'll check you next time, probably in like 2 or 3 hours. Goodbye. We're not gonna do the whole stare thing today, or at least not right now. But bye.
It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. The spark rhymes off of the mind. We all shine. Sits the fundamental breaks are making hits, and the label isn't taking risks. I'm on stage to rip this like loose leaf, spit just like Uzis, kick shit like Bruce Lee, flip scripts like movies. Franco is the maniac that had to speak his mind simultaneously, aiming to put daggers in your spine. Nasty when I'm pissed, give me a slap on the wrist. Trapped inside an abyss, it's like a capitalist, giving those Republican crooks the fat finger. An abstract thinker, I'm the son of a jazz singer. Raps bring me back, feet tapping, it just happened. You're in a castle, living lavish, so niggas have to gift the gap. It's really all material. You hear me through your stereo? There I go, there I go, there I go. If I'm moody like James, it's cause the suicide train never stops like pain. His albums drop like rain. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. The spark rhymes off of the mind. We all shine. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. The spark rhymes off of the mind. We all shine. Where I'm from, there were some that bury funds and carry guns. From the time that they was very young, I was prepared to run into scary bums. And if a bear lumbered through your yard, I ate the cherry plums. One night, some people caused commotion. Rocks was thrown in through the windows and the locks was broken. The garage was open, dogs was barking, and they didn't fucking stop till morning. The fog had rolled in across the ocean. The gods was probably smoking on something omnipotent. That day on the pathways, I let the hash blaze, rolled a half eighth and knew a fat J. Acting crazy till I crashed, I got mad lace. Trapped in the days in the strat's maze, I can't remember, really never feeling better. And how I always got sick from the chilly weather, when we were still together. Oh, and how we kissed, and in the valley drifted the Cali mist. And if the time of night was kinda right, we could ride a bike to tell stories over firelight. In the summertime, I gun for miles, I was wasn't white and I was trying to find a place to pump my pipe. Cause I love the humble life. I might have got in trouble, but I never caught a fucking strike. And then the other night, I was cruising down the street, something wasn't right. Looked up and saw a dozen lights. Fuck the cops, pulled me over, thank God I was sober. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. The spark rhymes off of the mind, we all shine. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. The spark rhymes off of the mind, we all shine. Spreading as a purple obsession, we rolling stinky green like the wetlands. With your crew and a session. When I stepped in, saw some people getting vexed, and they fixed me a mixed strength and maybe ambidextrous. It had a big impression. I won't give suggestions, cause we all know the spot we got tonight could be our deathbed. You need your best meds. Here's some diesel for the ex-heads. Go dumb. I'm your idol kid like this is special ed. Everything we own will trickle down like weathered homes. Record shows are collecting, yo. That's the devil's dough, though you never know what to expect. Don't expect to blow if you're professional. You've mastered the balance, the ebb and flow. I guess I've just been blessed with the gift of perfecting poems. Unless I got Tourette's with a tick like a metronome, it's better left alone. Like a sculpture set in stone in battle mode. Walking through the catacombs. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. The spark rhymes off of the mind, we all shine. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. The spark rhymes off of the mind, we all shine. Northern California, so you know the seas. Franco is blowing trees on the west coast, even overseas.